What is up? Welcome back to the Lightspeed Social Agency YouTube channel. I was out last week celebrating my wife's birthday in beautiful North Carolina, but I am back this week with, I know, a big promise. I am telling you, you can add $100,000 in new work to your lawn care landscaping business by December 31st, 2023. If you follow what I am about to outline in this video. Okay, so I know that that is a big claim, but listen, some of these things may not apply to you, but if you apply the blend of these that do not already exist in your business, that is not a crazy goal. It is an audacious one, and it's one that I believe that you can hit with these tools and maybe a little help from a friend. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about are high speed, low drag, fall services you can add to the business this year. Even if these are things you have not done before, these are pretty simple to understand, pretty simple to get your head around and get involved in. So I've got 5 of them that I would want you to add to your business. Now, I know you might be thinking like, Cody, you've talked about simplicity in the business and sticking around core services. These are upsell services, and you can give this handful a try and see what sticks. And some of them you probably already have in the business. So I wanted to give you, hey, if you don't have these are ones to consider adding, see if it will work for you. The first thing is fall cleanups, right? That's super easy to sell, especially to new customers. We're going to loop back on that in a second. But fall cleanups are easy to sell. Even a second round or a third round of fall cleanups can really move the needle on revenue for the business. So consider that. You know, your worst truck can do your fall cleanups. It doesn't have to be, all reliable, but get some plywood up on the bed so that you can haul more leaves and you can really quickly get those out. You'll need some blowing equipment. The method that I have seen that I feel like is the lowest investment to do the service is blowing everything onto a tarp and then gathering the tarp so that you're not doing like trash can fulls or like loading bags. You want to get things off the property if at all possible versus bagging them up. Okay, the next thing is fall fertilizer treatments. Now, some of you might live in a state where, you need licensing to do fall fertilizer treatments. The thing that I would challenge you to do here, if you are not already thinking about it this way, is fall is a great time to onboard new customers for fertilization treatments, right? This is the person who survived the summer DIY or with another company. This is a good time to explain to them and treat it like a new onboarding for the business. So, do your education here, do your upsells to your existing maintenance customers to get them in the door on fall fertilizer. If you don't have the appropriate licensing, obviously you can't start selling fertilizer treatments, but you could do a subcontracted thing with someone who is. So you can consider that if that's worth your time to do. And then aeration goes hand in hand with that. It is just about time all across the nation to be doing your aeration services. So this is a little education heavy, and I'm coming back to things that are easy to sell new customers and things that are easier to upsell to your existing customers who already trust you. Aeration requires a little bit of education for the customer to understand the benefit, and it's a less obvious thing, right? If I come to your home and I remove all the leaves from the lawn, that's a really big transformation in a lot of cases. It's very easy to see what I've done. If I come and aerate, mostly what I've done is leave a trail of what look like dog turds across your lawn. And so that might be a little bit less obvious of a benefit. So we need someone to trust us a little bit or to be educated on it. And then moving into the last 2 things here, these are big ticket items that you can do with low investment. The first is Christmas light installs, right? Putting Christmas lights up, doing a leasing model where you own the lights and you store them all year and you get paid to install them. If the customer wants to change their design next year, there's no cost to them, all that sort of thing. You can also do a customer owns the lights and pays you to store them, or they store them themselves. Whatever model you want to go with here, the labor rates for Christmas lights, everyone who has tried to DIY this, they know how much work goes into it. And so you're going to have, unlike in maintenance, where most of your customers are people who have always paid to have their lawn done, I feel like almost everyone has tried a little DIY Christmas light install and had it go pretty poorly, and they would much rather pay someone to do it. It's kind of like moving. Everybody moves themselves in college, between apartments when they're about that age. And then by the time you're hitting 30, you're like, I'm not as young as I used to be. I'm too old for this shit. And they hand it off to somebody else. So Christmas light installs you can get involved in this, test the waters this year, but that is an excellent way to add money to your business before the end of the year, but you have to get started as soon as possible planning. You want to get some photos of your home with lights on it. Be the weirdo in the neighborhood that has lights up almost right now. As long as it doesn't snow in your market and you can get away with people not knowing what time of year the photos were taken, you can do them as soon as the leaves turn. Okay, and the final thing here, and don't be intimidated by this, right? This is not the same as doing real electrical work, real in air quotes. Low voltage landscape lighting installs are dramatic. They are easy to learn how to do, and they are high ticket items, right? I know personally that I have moved via Facebook ads easily 5-figure jobs doing just landscape lighting installs in the front yard and the backyard. So you can do this. People are willing to pay for it, and you don't need to buy anything until you've sold the first job, right? So you can know pricing from your dealer and then work from that to build out the quote. Obviously, you'll be guessing on the labor hours and that kind of thing, but it is not hard to wrap your brain around. If you have worked on a lawnmower engine, I promise you can do low voltage lighting installs. So almost anyone can learn how to do this. You almost certainly have someone on your team, if you are not a solo operator, who's going to gravitate toward understanding how that kind of thing works, and you can lean on them if you need to, if you're not that kind of guy. But those are the 5 services: fall cleanups, fall fertilizer treatments, aeration, and on aeration, rent the equipment this year. If you don't already have aeration in the business, you can rent the equipment. Your Home Depot will have that available to you. Rent it, and you can decide whether it was profitable enough to buy equipment next year. You can have an idea of how many of your customers were interested, all of that sort of thing. And the big ticket items that I think that you should really consider adding if you want to hit that $100,000 goal is Christmas light installs and low voltage landscape lighting installs. Okay, so let's talk really quickly about upselling to existing customers. You want to tackle that via email, via Facebook post, via Instagram post, anywhere that you already have their attention, even a little bit. You want to be talking about the services that you're currently offering, especially if you're launching a new service. You want to, the things that are good to sell to existing customers are things that are education needed services. They're going to be best for customers or people being referred by a customer. And then you want to advertise to new customers in your best neighborhoods. Where your best customers live, there are more people like them there, and you want to advertise with the hyperlocal strategies that we've talked about on the YouTube channel, either going and pounding the pavement yourself or using Facebook to pound that pavement and doing digital ads targeted just on those neighborhoods with services that are low resistance and obvious value. The thing I talked about earlier with the drama of leaves being gone, or the drama of, my yard was dark and sad at night and I got a landscape lighting install and it's dramatic and amazing now. So those are your 2 ways to advertise. Obviously, you can sell your customers on dramatic things that are easy to sell, but I would focus your efforts to new customers on things that have very obvious, immediate value. And then once they trust you, you can move to selling them the things that require a little bit of trust getting yourself the opportunity to talk to them and explain the benefits of, an aeration is a little harder to immediately understand. Okay, the next strategy you can employ here is to pre-sell packages for the spring. You can offer a discount on next year's fertilizer package or next year's maintenance package to encourage customers to go ahead and sign up and pay a deposit now, pay for the season now. You can decide what that discount is worth to you. What I would tell you is consider your processing cost for each payment through the season. And if you can tell people, hey, you could prepay with a check now for the whole season and save 3 to 5%, you're not losing anything, right? Because you're paying that to your credit card processor. So consider pre-sale packages for the spring. This is a huge benefit of this, getting cash in your hand now or in January, February. is that you're going to fill your war chest for marketing spend before your competitors. You're going to be able to be first to market in the spring. You're going to be out there making noise, making a name for yourself before the other guys have even like gotten their gloves on and, started trying to work. Okay, so then the final piece of this that I think is going to be really helpful for you is a referral program for those harder to sell or education-based services. So you can tell your customers, hey, send us your neighbors in, your immediate neighbors, your neighbors in the neighborhood for aeration treatment or for fertilization treatment, and we'll give you a $50 Amazon gift card, a $30 Amazon gift card. Use those services as your foot in the door to then be able to sell that person maintenance next year, but we're focused on our 100K before the end of the year. So what you need to do is make sure your referral cost keeps you profitable. So maybe it's a $20 gift card, and in the spring it would be $50. But keep it as high speed, low drag as you can, and use your existing list not just to increase your value from each customer, but get them to bring you their friends. Right? They know people that live in their neighborhood and that will want your services. Maybe they're dissatisfied with their landscaper they've had for the year, and this is your opportunity to kind of sneak in when they won't even be thinking about advertising, to get in there and pull this person away. But also, there's a really good chance that maybe it's just a service their landscaper doesn't provide. Their guy doesn't do low voltage lighting installs. Their guy doesn't do aeration and fall cleanups. He doesn't have the manpower for it. Whatever reason, he goes dormant in the fall, winter, and you have the opportunity to scoop in there and become their year-round person. So if you implement, this is 5 strategies built around 5 services that I think should exist in every lawn care and landscaping business, as long as the numbers check out for you. You should do these in your business, and you will be able to hit that $100,000 goal by the end of the year. You can do it. And if you need help getting yourself in front of those customers, writing the emails to do the referral program, writing the emails to upsell your existing customers, or running those hyperlocal Facebook ads to get new customers in the door, over here at Lightspeed, that is exactly what we are focused on. And I will personally help you get across that $100,000 threshold before the end of the year. We can do it. You can do it. And we would be happy to help you. All right, guys, I will see you next week. Make sure that you are subscribed. I will see you next week.